All right, we're here for our Flaming Hot Topic series. This is going to be our episode 5, and man, this one is going to be something. I mean, literally, for anyone who's been following this series, this is something we kind of drop on a weekend. But like, considering that we just aborted our whole regular show on a Thursday to drop this, that has to tell you how intense it is right now. But I'm joined by Will, of course, because it couldn't be a Flaming Hot series without him, right?
No, it could not. We always got to turn up the flames if I'm coming around. But we are joined today once again by a face that has not been on the Flaming Hot Topic before, but is not an unfamiliar face around the big gold belt nowadays. Miss Christi Jaynes is back with us once again.
Hey guys, how are you? Sorry, I'm in my car. I am not driving. My car drives itself. Wink. Nudge, nudge.
You know, that's a real thing nowadays too. So it's like completely possible. Yeah, that's right. Let's get a quick update from you real quick before we get into the stuff. How's everything? I kind of saw your tweet earlier that you're hoping for some good news, but what do you know that we don't?
Yeah, so I'm back in Austin, Texas. I am no longer in California. Boo-hoo. I'm in the car. I'm always on the go. For everyone that follows me, they know I'm always doing something. It's very hard to find me just sitting down and relaxing by the pool, which I did do for a day or two in California, but I'm always on the go. So today I got back. As soon as I got off the plane, I went into my doctor's appointment, went and had an MRI. I will get the results tomorrow morning. So no one gets to find out till tomorrow.
Good luck there. Good luck. Right? Good luck. So let's get some things on the table real quick before we start. Number one, definitely want to check out our last interview we had with Miss Sasha McKenzie that came on. That was a very, very fun interview, and it just goes right on topic with everything we're talking about today. So number one, the first thing I'm going to say is that before we even got live for the show, we can all, no matter what, and no matter how you try to misconstrue words and try to make things what they are and what they aren't, the three of us, none of us tolerates harassment of any sort. That's just not a thing. So we just want to make it very, very clear. You heard it here. We're going to say it a zillion more times, and you're also going to hear the word allegedly a lot as well too. Because there will be some sensitive things because it's the Flaming Hot Topic series. You know how it is. So, but you know, we just want to make it very, very clear that no matter whatever you're trying to make out of it, because you know how people are.
Yeah,
especially Twitter.
Trying to make trouble, you know.
Yeah, especially Twitter. On that note, too, to even before we even get into the big crop of things tonight. Twitter has been very, 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 very like Twitter's has been on fire on all different aspects. And number one, we're starting off because we're not going to get fame to anyone who's not important. But and I don't care what Will says, but I'm not going to let nobody come for my boy. But nonetheless, the first mission tonight is we're going to talk about how people get all uptight because you don't agree with their opinion. So
That's true. And Twitter is like an outlet for people just to voice their opinion and for everyone else to voice their opinion too on top of it. And it's supposed to be an open outlet, right?
I mean, that's literally what the premise of Twitter was made for. I think it's 300 something characters now, but when it was 140, it literally was 140 characters of your thoughts. And if you like them, you like them. Well, what are we talking about here?
Are we going to get into specifics? Do you want to get into specifics of this week or what?
No.
I mean, George. We'll call the Twitter person George. You commented on George's Twitter tweet. I think that's what the young folks call it. Tweet. You commented on their tweet, and George decided that it was not okay for you to have freedom of speech or freedom of press or whatever else you wanted to have.
Take all his amendments away, all of them.
Right.
And
oh my.
And we're waiting for you to jump in. It's your story.
It's your story.
I don't know, it's so much my story. I don't know. Okay, so you get people really like to, it seems, come on, and I don't even think they necessarily even believe what they're saying, but they just want to throw something controversial out there just to get a rise out of people. You know?
I don't know if it's a rise. I feel like it's more so they can see how many likes or hearts they get because they want to feel, because the internet validates who I am, right? I mean, I understand if you're like in the entertainment business or whatever, obviously it validates your job and, you know, how much you're going to get paid and everything else and what a draw you are. But for regular people every day, I feel like they're starting to do it more for the draw, because if you turn it around and ask them why they posted that, they get all offensive and they say, well, I mean, I don't think that way, but somebody else does, right? So I feel like it's for the likes. So we'll do it to that.
All the proof is in the pudding with that one. Oh, look, I'm gonna say this one more time. Go back and listen to that Sasha McKenzie interview, because there's some things I can pull from that validates that the scenario going on here clearly is all about trying to reach for those likes and attention. And then the thing is too, which really gets under my skin, is that if you don't agree, then the boy band army crew comes after you with these like outrageous like statements against it, like,
they're called white knights.
Yeah, exactly. And like Will says, like, you know, by trying to show favoritism or trying to be like a white knight, in other words, that's not going to get you slept with on Twitter. But
I mean, why do you think they do it? Do you think they do it because they logically feel like this woman that they're protecting may give them something, like, I don't know, in return?
Let me ask you.
Some of them I think absolutely do. Some of them absolutely do.
Why? You're just being nice to them. Sorry, I just screeched. God damn it. Oh, I can't say that either. Sorry.
Let me ask you, do people automatically, as soon as they take to something of your liking, do they jump in your inbox like, hey, you saw what I did for you out there?
Yeah, so that's interesting you bring that up, because today I was at the gym, shocking, and I was doing some of my rehab balance things that I have to do. And this really nice guy, he's amazing. He's really cool. And I'm always nice to him. I always talk to him. I mean, I'm nice to everyone, right? He's never given me any creepy vibes or, you know, weirded me out. But he came over and he was like, oh, you know what? Your leg looks really tight. Let me just hit this pressure point. It'll straighten it right out. And I'm sitting there trying to explain to him in the nicest way possible, you know, like, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm going through rehab. I'm not supposed to fully straighten my leg. This is an ACL surgery. And he's like, no, like, he keeps pressing the matter. And I'm just trying to be as nice. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's a good idea, because if you hurt me, like, am I going to have to sue you so you can pay my bills? Yep. And he was like, the look on his face was like, I killed his mother. And it was like, I genuinely am just a nice person and was trying to explain to you, like, no, it's okay, but you couldn't take the hint. So I feel like sometimes when you're nice to guys, in the wrestling business and outside of the wrestling business, when you're just nice to a guy, you're like, hey, you say hi to them every day because, you know, you're just a nice person and everyone deserves a smile, a hello, a hug, and a handshake, right?
Yeah.
And some people have slid into my DMs and, you know, just straight out asked me for my number, asked me to go out. And I try to tell them, like, you know, I'm not interested. And then as soon as I say that word, I'm not interested, they're like, well, you led me on. I'm like, what are you talking about? I led you on. Well, I mean, you say hi to me all the time. You know, you talk to me. I'm like,
yeah, you're like a human, you know.
Yeah, I'm a human being. Like, okay, okay, so now I got to be an asshole. But then when you're an asshole, then they go on Twitter and they're like, this person's, like the meanest thing ever. So it's like, it's a lose-lose situation, I feel like, when it comes to being that.
You didn't ignore me from the jump and kick me to the curb. So since you were the slightest bit nice to me, that means something was going to happen. Something was absolutely going to happen.
Right. But, I mean, I've also been asked, I don't know if I should say this because this person's going to know exactly who they are, but so I've been at shows and people have asked me to go out on dates with them, and I'm like, I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, I'm not interested because wrestling and people spread rumors and allegations run wild, and everyone's looking for gossip, right? People get their rocks off on that, and then the white knights come to your rescue, and then they're like, well, I rescued you, I'm safe, you want to spend the night? You can stay at my place, I promise. I have an extra room, I won't touch you. And then you wake up halfway through the night and they're sitting at the foot of the bed staring at you.
Yeah.
So I knew it. Allegedly, that has happened to people.
Well, I will say this though, to Will's predicament, because it's not really a predicament, but we're making fun of it. It's not even a big deal. But the fact of the matter is, two things before the basic low lane level of this is that people just don't understand how business works. That's all I'm gonna say. People get their personal opinions on things, and if you do not agree with it, they come for your neck, and that's what I just don't like.
And keyword there, opinions. People put stuff on Twitter and it's their opinion, but then they get this idea in their head that it's a fact.
Yeah.
And it is their opinion.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's a sexual opinion or a racist opinion or a bigot opinion. It's just
flat out of the other thing is too. We won't even
say what it is, because then the person's gonna be like, "I'm famous."
Yeah, exactly. Not even. Yeah. The other thing I want to point out to this too is that if you do want to validate your opinion, all you have to do is just add per sources or at Dave Meltzer with it, and it's all mad valid. That's.
Are you serious? So, that's true.
It damn well might be. It should be.
I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna test it out. So everyone listening, do not give away my little secret, what I'm gonna be doing all week, and we'll just see how much heat I bring to the table.
There's this one Twitter account, and I wish I would definitely drop this if I could think of it right now. But this one Twitter account legitimately put per sources on everything, and it'd be the most reachingest things ever. They'll say something like, per sources, Enzo Amore is in the arena tonight and will debut on Raw. Something like that. Or return on Raw. Yes. That one Twitter account is savage, or how far they reach for things. But point of the matter is, if you're following anybody that's on this show, and we have opinions, you don't like it, then that's fine. We're not in the business to persuade you. This is just our opinion. We talk about it. But you cannot hate someone because they got an opinion different than yours. That's not how it works. You're not going to get far in life by that philosophy. No. Point blank. So, for sure. But I do got, like I said, Twitter's been crazy, and I literally do have some questions. I have some legitimate questions about things, and I know you have the answers for them. And I know Will probably know more about this either, and I'm just going to be completely oblivious about it because I just don't know, and I want to know in a more of an informative way instead of just coming up with coming up with some things of my own. I'd be way off, but I legitimately need to know, what are customs?
So what
in the wrestling world, not at the border.
Right. Apparently, when you go through customs, it's not only at the border; it's inside of the U.S. too.
Yeah. Well,
so I found that out the hard way. I didn't know that. I was driving back from Laredo, Texas, and there was another checkpoint outside of Laredo, And I was like, I'm in America. Like, you guys can't stop me. They're like, yeah, actually, we can. I'm like, oh, all right then. So, yeah, that was my experience with customs. But so customs in the wrestling world, again, I've said this in previous podcasts, I don't do them. Nothing against the women that do it, because I think it's kind of like one of those things, right? It's your body. If you want to, empower yourself by doing that, that's fine. I choose not to do it. Customs before I started in the business were really raunchy and nasty, and like girls would wear lingeries and stuff like that. Now customs are more just like a match.
Oh, so it is a match nonetheless.
Yeah, now it is. Now it's a match between two girls that you like and you would like to see wrestle each other. And, you get to pick their outfits. They have to wear outfits. Either they can wear wrestling gear or they wear a full body bathing suit, right? But most women's wrestling gear now are like a full body swimsuit, like Taya's. It's a one piece, right? Lana she wears a one piece. She wears a swimsuit pretty much, in the ring. So now it's tame compared to what it was. Apparently, I've allegedly heard that customs in the UK are still raunchy and nasty and dirty, and it's guys legitimately telling you to do something with other girl. Not like insertion or stuff like that, but like just hold them in this position and, moan or whatever while you're wearing lingerie. So anyways, so there's this huge stigma around it. There have been a few women that still wrestle. Some of them are signed. Allegedly, they used to own their own customs. So
wait.
Rumors. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know.
Specify that. When you say they own their own one, like they own like the business, or they own
ran it. Yeah, they had their own customs business that they would ask other female wrestlers to be a part of, and they would, film the custom matches, make CDs of them, and sell them. Allegedly, I don't know if it's true. Allegedly. So yeah, there's that. But I don't do them. Like here's my take on customs, right? It's you go to 6th Street, Dirty Six here in Austin, or you go to New Orleans and you see these girls. They're out there lifting their shirts up for a 5-cent bead. Right? They're doing all sorts of stuff out there. They'll pull their pants down, whatever it is. And no one gets mad or gets down at them or calls them, whatever for doing it. But yet a stripper that is like, damn, these bitches these women, these fine young
you're on the right episode. Let it loose.
are doing it for free. They are absolutely going out there for free. Why am I going to do it for free when I know some dude is going to give me oodles of money and go to a very safe environment where no guy can touch me and I can make bank instead of getting a 5-cent bead? Yeah. So I guess that's my look on it, right? Kind of like when it comes to prostitution. I know I feel the heat coming on this one. There are girls that go out there and have one-night stands. There's guys that go out there and have one-night stand. And everyone's like, oh, they're a hoe, they're a slut, whatever, right?
Yeah, but society double standards.
Yeah. And who knows? These people aren't tested. They could have AIDS. They could have, Hep, syphilis, like
any number of things.
Anything, yeah.
Anything, but in these controlled environments, overseas, these women that are paid companions are tested. And it's in a controlled environment. So to me, it's kind of like, why are you going to really get down on some lady that's figured out the system? That's like, yeah, dude, I want to have a one-night stand every night, but you know what? I'd rather get paid for it.
So, okay, so all right, my perception was completely off. Number one, the first thing that kind of threw me off was like, oh, you can pay someone to work a match with each other, and I'm thinking like, there's so much damn wrestling everywhere. Like at some point, your favorite person is going to wrestle someone somewhere, and is going to stream somewhere, so you're able to see it. But that is the mature way of looking at this, I guess. Because
so there are perverted men out there, as Will pointed out, and they definitely, I'm sure even watching on. Okay, so here's the thing. You can go on YouTube and you can type in like any female wrestler's name in the WWE, outside the WWE, and just put hotness behind it. And these people literally try to find compilations of anything. And my gear is very, like, covering, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because I had a friend watch it, and he's like, this is so uncomfortable because somebody deliberately went out of their way to try to make you look sexy, and you just look weird. I'm like, what do you think? They're like, yeah, actually, that is what I'm saying. God. So, yeah, there's that.
I don't know if you got any questions, Will. I got like one more question. Then I think I got the premise of this.
I'm taking this all in.
Me too. So just to understand this, so there's promotions who don't run actual shows, but they're in the business of entertainment. So they probably got studios and everything, where they only operate on ad hoc basis. So there has to be an order for something to happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, what type of money are we talking about to get like two people who may not even be in the same vicinity to do something? Or is it like a roster or?
I don't know. I don't know what the money is, but there is kind of like a roster, right? So they'll call around for different girls and they'll be like, oh, have you ever thought about doing this? If you say yes, they're like, oh, you should come work for our company. This is how much we pay, for like if the match is 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, like this is, our pay. And then the more orders you get, the higher pay you get. I don't know what the starting number is because again, I've been contacted to do them and I don't do them. So my right off the bat is I just don't do it.
Right, the conversation never gets there.
Yeah, look, my bottom line is I don't watch wrestling for this. That's why I'm just so confused. Like I don't understand. Like I mean, I get it. It makes money, and I understand that business is hard, and there's definitely some nights or days where the money's not adding up. So this sounds like a lucrative way to make money in a controlled environment and safe with someone you are familiar with and so on. But on the retrospect, I mean, like, there has to be some type of like dignity hit here or something, right? Or am I thinking a little over the top with it?
So this kind of goes back to the whole like, are you telling me that the girls that go out? By the way, I'm not driving anymore.
You was never driving in the first place.
That's right. It was a self-propelled car. Never happened. What are you talking about? So it goes back to the whole these girls that get drunk and have one night stands. Are you saying they have no dignity?
I'm sure there's people that would say that, depending on who they are. I mean, there's
because it's everyone's opinion, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, like my opinion on the View is, it's like whatever. The hard thing for me is that my immediate family is, some of them are wrapped up in the media that I would never want something to be misconstrued.
Oh yeah,
That
I mean
one
that's
of their sisters is doing something like this that could potentially harm their career, so that's where I'm at, and I understand.
I don't even think that's like I don't even think that should be like, for me, I don't think that should be a personal thing on scope. I think a lot of people need to consider that, and I think not only just that, I mean, we're now in the digital era where nothing is really gone. I have to imagine that your kids eventually gets older and they tap into all this stuff we were doing before they were even here. You want to make sure that you're still setting yourself as an example present because of what they're going to find out later.
Right? Yeah, that's my only thing is, and I think that's more. And I've never needed the money. So the money is really good. I've heard it's really good. People pay their bills plus some on it. But I've just never needed it. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have had a lot of work, a lot of wrestling work also. And it's nice, that I never had to do it. But I do know people that have done it. And, I don't look down on them for it. And I don't feel like it's a source of, they do customs. So what kind of a person are they? Well, it's like, honey, I mean, I'm sure your mother had plenty of one night stands, but we don't sit here and say, what kind of a person is your mom?
Yeah.
No, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
no, and I think the biggest thing here I want to say, and then we can get off the topic, is I think the biggest thing I want to say here is too, at the end of the day, you still have the opportunity to say yes or no to all of the constraints with it. So, just because it has this title up top, which again, that's something that we don't understand. I'm sure even people who are purchasing things probably don't even understand, there's still the ability to say like, here's my limitation of what I want to do. Yeah, if you want to wear, certain gear or a certain type of outfit just to do what you would regularly do, but you're in a controlled environment and safe, then, but you get 3, 4, 5, 6 times what you would get at a normal booking wearing your gear. I can't be mad at that. I can't be 20. Look, some people get $25 a show. What's to say that, I don't know, you get $600 for this? How can someone say no when they got to feed?
I think that's on the low end, 600.
Wow.
See, okay. That explains all of it. I mean, it's a side hustle, or in that kind of money, it might be your main hustle. But everyone's trying to make ends meet in whichever way they can.
Right.
So,
and for as long as they can, right? Because looks fade, and you gotta get by. There's girls I know that don't even wrestle that do custom wrestling matches, and
the money's better doing that. So
and they go to college and they pay for their college tuition. I mean, I've had friends that have stripped to pay their college tuition too. It's a very real thing. But then you do have those girls that just get caught up in the drugs and the sex and all that,
on the fame and all that. We know
real too. So let's not say it's not real, right?
So
there's two sides to everything.
Yeah. So so for my next question, which is a combination of a couple of things that we kind of discussed and mentioned already. My biggest thing is, so you've been approached for certain things, regardless. If you decide yes or no, what would you deem is the appropriate way to for bookings for anything, for regular show bookings, podcasts, appearances, any of that type of stuff? What do you deem is the appropriate way for one to go about that? And the reason why this topic is even on this conversation is because there's a furry, getting all tongue tied, of people who are taking, which I can see taking a noble way of trying to inquire about business And I don't agree with their what they do afterwards, because as soon as you don't answer, then you're this and that name, which you brought up earlier. But on that note too, how do you separate yourself with so much negativity going out there? Not to mention, like, Jordan Grace has put out a book of people DMing her in the wrestling world, which this does not tie into that, but nonetheless. And as far as like with so much of that out there, when you want to have dignity and actually approach someone legitly, what would be the best way? Because me personally, I'll tell you this: I handle my business in emails. So I do my work, but then I hear people that says like, "Oh, I don't check my emails." And I'm just like, well, I find it kind of like, I'm not sure, like, is it inappropriate to kind of like friend you on Facebook, where Facebook is kind of like half your personal, half your wrestling? Do you even check it? Do I belong there? That type of stuff.
Every wrestler has Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So it's always safe to go to one of those 3 outlets, and they normally in their bio or on all 3 of them say, for bookings, please contact so-and-so. Now, I will tell you what I don't like. I don't like when people ask me for my phone number. Because
well, that's not even on the table.
Yeah, it's just way too close to home. It's very personal. If I've worked for you for a few times, sorry, that's my friend. She's like, "Oh, we going?" I'm like, "No." Ran the other way. Okay. So, if I like work for you for like a few times, I'll give you my number, no problem. You can call me. We can WhatsApp, whatever. Especially overseas. Overseas, WhatsApp and Line are like I
need to remember that.
Yeah, hang out, right? Are the number one ways promotions get a hold of you. So first they'll message you on Facebook, and then they'll, ask you for a WhatsApp, and then they'll text you on WhatsApp, give you all your information, visa information, everything. But yeah, like, definitely go to Facebook, go to Instagram, or go.
So you're saying social media is their approach, right? But yeah. But see, that's so contradicting, because what you were about to say is in everyone's profile in social media, it says, for bookings, hit this email.
Right, because some promoters don't like to use Facebook Messenger, or else they don't want to download the app. So you have another outlet for them to get a hold of you, right? But don't call me on the phone and be like, "Hey, dude, I got your phone number from so-and-so. Yeah, I have your address. You mind if we, just get together, talk about these bookings?"
Yeah, nah, I understand that. That's not even on the table by all means. But I'm just saying, what I just noticed was a big contradiction of people saying like, well, if you're, first of all, we have to, again, remember that anyone who's in the business, you are considered a personal contractor. You yourself are your business. And I think that if you're trying to do business or inquire about business, negotiate business, whatever it is business wise, should reflect, your contact should be easily accessible. Now, Instagram is not a business thing for me. That's just not. It's not at all. I'm never going to hit them on Instagram like, "Hey,
Right. No. But you have the other 2 outlets.
Right.
And
so Facebook is the one.
If you're an email person, email me,
Everybody's different. So you got some promoters that are probably going to lean more towards email. You got some are going to lean more towards Facebook. You got some that are going to lean more towards Twitter. So you got to have a presence everywhere, so you can catch all the fish coming in.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're an entertainer. Your face is your business. You have to make yourself available for bookings. People know where to find you.
Yeah, but you still are forgetting about the one important thing is that, I totally agree. Just like with us, if you want to contact us, we are everywhere. I have access to all the accounts, emails, Google Plus. Some people have my personal, but the Facebook group has a messenger. We have a Facebook legitimate group. So many ways to contact, but I am accessible on all of them. I would not dare tell someone, say, "Hey, if they wanted to be on the show, oh, I don't check my email, so just hit me up on Facebook." Like, but you want to be a business person, but you already are telling me that you you don't know how to handle business. Just know if you don't check your email, don't have your email posted. You know what I mean? You know,
I'm with you. Trust me, I'm with you.
But that's what
I hate it how I'm not very tech savvy. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
Yeah. I barely figured out how to hang up today. It's been how do I hang up the red button?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing, right? Sometimes your emails go directly into spam, and I didn't know that.
Fair.
And then I didn't know that Facebook has a filtered.
Yep. But see,
my friend had to teach me, and I felt so bad. I had to message all these promoters being like, I'm not an asshole, I promise. I didn't get it.
But see, that's fair though, because you're acknowledging the lack of knowing how to use the technology. That's fine. We're in that era where even me being in the tech world, I still don't get something, and I get that. But to be completely ignorant and I don't check my email, so why is it posted? That's what I just don't get.
Yeah,
that's what I don't get.
You too. Why is it posted?
So
maybe that's just their easy way of telling you that they don't want to be on the podcast. And
that's look, we've had that run in before. Of someone not wanting to be interested.
Just say I don't want to be on the podcast.
That's totally fine. Yeah, but you know what? Too from me to those type of people, I can't respect you because if you want to decline, that's fine. I don't think. I think ignoring and silence is ignorance. I don't think it states anything because just like you just said that you had stuff in your filter box. And if we had reached out to you and you didn't get it, you're not going to, it wasn't a sign of you ignoring. It was a sign of you dismissing it. And you see how you kind of my
ignorance. Literally, it's ignorance because I was poorly educated on the subject. So yes, the word is ignorant.
Yes, by definition, yes, that is correct. But I mean, but not in pure intent for this. Is what I mean.
There was no malicious intent there.
But see, that's the line. That's why I always say, what is the proper way? Because you could I really, and even sometimes when I even second guess myself on things, I have people look. So, what do you think about how this is proposed? That's is grammar correct? Am I approaching it in a legitimate manner that represents a professional manner for business? So it ain't sound like I'm just trying to do this in my mama's basement and when I ask creepy questions and stuff like this, And on top of that too, I tell everybody when we have on shows and we promote people, we represent Nova Pro at a point because we taught their storylines and their brand, and if they didn't have faith in us doing that, they wouldn't allow us to do so on their behalf. Right. So you know what I mean? But it's funny, and I'm not going to drop no names here, but it's funny that I have approached someone and they did not respond to me. Another person came up to me and said they had to validate for me that we were not those creepy guys. And I was like, okay, I appreciate that. But what I don't get is, so what does that mean? My email wasn't legitimate enough to depict who we were. You automatically had this stereotype of what you thought we were before you even find out yourself. So that's why the question is, so what is the proper way out here? Because nowadays, and I guess this is the answer, you got to roll the dice. Look, you never know what platform to go on, how to talk, whatever it may be.
It's like roulette.
It is roulette. It is roulette. Yeah.
It's roulette, and you gotta be persistent. You gotta be persistent, and you gotta come correct and not be ridiculous. And hopefully your message is gonna get taken the right way.
Right.
You're not gonna step on any toes. There's a lot of, like you were just saying to James. There's a lot of people out there who go about business not exactly in the most professional way, and it might. Yeah, very shady, and a lot of it's probably just out of not knowing any better. So a lot of people get burned, and a lot of people, it makes it harder for those of us that want to go about it the right way, because you got to then break through those prior experiences of people doing who knows what, and probably sending people random text messages because they got their phone number from somebody else at the show, and sending messages like 3 in, inappropriate times, and hey, you want to be on my show? It's like, who the heck are you? Who the heck are you? Why are you on their show, and why are you sending me a message at 3 in?
Yeah, and well agreed, dude. Like all the way around there. I totally agree. And that's another reason too. Like, well, I ain't gonna even bring that up because that's our personal secrets too. But that's another reason why on the way of bookings, why we do it the way we do, because we don't even want to be on that type of like slope of like, well, what am I really doing here? Why do y'all really want to talk to me?
I mean, I feel like as long as you have a paper trail of everything you've done or conducted with the other person, you're good. So
yeah. But anyway, nonetheless, because we're about to turn the flame up now, we just want to again reiterate the fact that no one on this show condemns harassment. That's just out of the question, no matter what it is. No one does, period. And also too, of people of the big old belt. We are all professionals in real life. We have kids, families, and all that other stuff. So we're very conscious about the things we say, and we definitely try to withhold a professional standard in everything we do. So with that being said, y'all ready to turn the flame up now? Because this is second half of the show now. We got some things to talk about.
All right, what's going on?
All right, Will. Let's drop those tweets, man. Let's drop those tweets.
So how did this come about?
Okay, I will say this. I was at ROH Best in the World in Baltimore, Maryland, and I legitimately looked over to my buddy. I was there, and I said, Coach Gator, for anyone who's listened to any of those shows, I said, I really do miss the House of Truth. Like, I really do, to the point that I was calling Punishment Martinez. I kept calling him Punishment Martini. He was like, yeah, I guess you really do, don't you? But I that was a thing that happened. That was last week. So oddly enough, I get on Twitter and someone tweeted Taeler Hendrix the same thing I said, and I was just like, oh wow. First of all, I like the picture she posted, but then I saw, like, because my comment posted, then I saw his, and I was like, damn, I just said that exact same thing. And then all this came about. Not that we provoked it or anything, let's be clear. But I mean, this is when his replies what made his tweet reply to her, because she posted a picture of her being in the House of Truth. It was an old picture, and it sparked everything from there. So go ahead.
So from there, and I guess this all ties in, I guess, to Jay Lethal winning the ROH title this week in Fairfax when they came through our area. But yeah, so this guy puts up that he misses the House of Truth to Taeler Hendrix, and out of the blue, she replies, I don't. It should have been the House of Hendrix. What has Truth or Jay done? What do they draw? Being a funny guy with a book. The other one only talks about his time in Impact copying legends. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so she's talking about that, and then guy's like, whoa, what are you talking about? Let's see. So the guy realized, okay, Jay is a two-time ROH world champion, longest reigning ROH television champion, only man in history of ROH to become undisputed ROH champion. No offense, but what have you done lately? I guess that was the wrong thing to say.
I mean, we talked about a lot of characters on Twitter, and this is another profile of a character, and this is called a Twitter troll. Yeah, because I mean, come on, dude. Like, he went with something positive by saying he missed it. She responded back in the manner she wanted, and then he was like, "Oh, because you didn't respond the way I wanted you to run."
To be clear, these are different people. The first guy says the thing, and then the second guy comes like, "What have you done lately?" Immediately taking offense at what she said. Yeah. And so,
you're right. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, you're right.
So she says, also, the dude you're standing up for is the same dude that told me because I didn't sleep with him, they sabotaged me and took me off TV. That being the almighty Jay. And of course, that opened a huge can of worms once that got thrown. That went up on July 4th.
Yeah, so July 4th, a little afternoon. Yeah. So
Taeler Hendrix put Jay Lethal on blast this week, is what it comes down to.
And a lot of people have a lot of opinions. And with any type of sexual allegations, comes the you're a fraud or I'm behind this 100%. Nonetheless, a bunch of different things have came out And the people attacked her nonetheless. People don't think about the sensitivity of what it is, regardless if it's true or false. Allegedly, if it's true or false. But people do insert themselves into the situation, sort of say, and pass these really harsh judgments on a person's character. So you already take a sensitive topic, and then you also now you make it extra sensitive and tender towards that person's character, which they already had to be sensitive in order to come out about it, regardless. Because we talked about it a little bit before and other things, but you know, especially with Sasha on the show, you know, in order for you to step up to do something regardless, that's like a big step forward to doing it. And it's just like one of those things where it's not something that someone can actually force you into doing it or say something about it. You legitimately have to build up the courage to say it, regardless of whatever the manner is, because this is career changing, life changing on all scopes when stuff like this comes out. She did also posted a picture on Instagram, which had a long, lengthy caption that says, and this was her second to last one. It's a picture of her with the Woman of Honor, a Woman of Honor photo, promo photo, and it says, "Let the hate roll in. My attorneys are in an ongoing investigation on this matter, and my support system since the start has not flattered. I will fight for what's right. If I don't, I will be a part of the problem, and that's not something I can live with. This sort of attention is vicious, threatening my job, the Mae Young Classic, and my career will not be deterred. Will not deter me any longer. I came forward privately a long time ago, as in before I left ROH. Now it's public. I will fight silence. I will fight. Silence is acceptance, and now will be silent no longer. Let the hate roll in. I will fight." And that happened. So that tweet happened. Oh,
it was on her Twitter also. So yes, that all went down yesterday. That was later in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
The big thing there, I guess, is she's making it clear that this isn't like the first. This has been spoken about. I guess apparently it has been brought up privately at some point.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have no idea about to what extent or to whom or anything of that sort. But she is claiming that it's not like yesterday was the first time she's ever made mention of this.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more serious than just speaking about it. She said her attorney's on it, which, you know, when you bring the law into it, it's always a serious matter. And the other elephant in the room is she dropped that this potentially has threatened her chances in the Mae Young Classic. Now, I don't totally agree with that because, you know, with anything with WWE, if you're involved with WWE, or especially with something that they're getting ready to, you know, if they haven't even been in the front of it, you shouldn't speak about it in this matter. I think that I get the severity of it and what you're trying to say, and maybe there's more about it. I definitely have some questions for Christi on this, but I know I wouldn't agree with her actually dropping the fact that the Mae Young Classic could be up in the air for her now, when, you know, if you're working with WWE, you never speak about it until they speak about it. So that's one of those type of things where I probably would have left that out if I was her, for sure. But okay, so look, you're a woman in the business for a long time. You work tons of promotions all over the different countries at that. And even still, if you were not a wrestler, you're still a woman at the end of the day. And we live in a society. I mean, America is brought up on the rape culture, so this is not nothing that none of us have ever never heard of. But considering that you have been in the business, you're a veteran. First, before you say anything, I want to know, what's your initial thoughts? First time you heard it, what's just the first thing you think, or reaction, or just anything?
So let's first, I am not a veteran in this business. We have to make that clear. I am not a vet. Okay.
I think when you have worked a substantial career in different places, top promotion. Okay, even if you only work Stardom and quit, that counts for a lot right there. So take it.
So this is a hard one because people lose their job over this. This is one aspect of the business that is true. I'm not saying, to make this absolutely perfectly clear, I have never met Jay Lethal in my life. I don't know who he is. I have never met Taeler Hendrix in my life. I don't know who she is. I mean, I know who they are, but I don't know them.
Right.
But the situation that she presented is very real. It happens all the time. And then if you speak up about it, people will tarnish your image and they will make it so it is extremely hard for you to work anywhere. So just for someone speaking up about it and saying anything in wrestling, in the short time I've been there, is detrimental to your career. Especially when you throw names out there. However, that being said, yes, it's happened to me on multiple occasions with promoters and with talent that is very well known in the wrestling business. And obviously, I am not everywhere. I am not in the super big, very well-known indie promotions because I am just one of those people that is like, no. It is one thing to say it's happened to you. It is another thing to name someone. And sometimes it's hard to find that proof. It goes back to our very first podcast where I said women throw around allegations and it could ruin a man's career, whether it's true or a lie. And if it's a lie and, the guy is like free and clear, it'll still ruin his career. It doesn't matter if he was cleared or not, It doesn't matter if the girl says I lied, he'll still be tarnished. Unfortunately, it also goes the other way that, there are some very powerful women in wrestling that can tarnish a man's, there's men that tarnish women's that tarnish men. It goes both ways.
Absolutely.
So for sure, do I believe what she is saying is a very real situation that happens in wrestling? Yes, that situation happens in wrestling. Am I saying that it happened to her? I don't know. Am I saying that it didn't happen to her? I don't know. No one's come out with any text messages or proof or evidence, right? Especially naming someone. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
I have messages from promoters, pretty much being really nice to me. And then it kind of goes back to the whole, don't ask me for my phone number. It hits very close to home. Don't tell me you want to take me out to dinner, and all of that. Because normally what happens is they start being really nice to you, and then you go work their promotion, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're all going to go eat. And you're like, okay, cool. You fly in. You don't know anyone in that area, so the promoter's the one that's driving you around. You guys end up going out to eat, and there's no one there, millions of excuses. And then, what ends up happening is I'll put the belt on you, you know. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Literally that. So, no, I'm not asking you guys if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that's the promoter saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And I look at him and I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna take an Uber to the airport.
Yeah.
And that's what I end up doing. And that's what I have done in the past. And I've never worked for that promotion again. And for some other promotions that promoter was friends with. It doesn't just happen with promoters though. Wrestlers that have some type of standing in the wrestling business, they, you know, and I mean, there are women that are shady and there are men that are shady in this business. I'm not going to lie. There are, you know, men and women that are married and they both are shady and they do shisty things and cheat on their spouses or their girlfriends or boyfriends. It's a very real thing. There have been allegedly cases of Patricia is trying to, you know, just make it in this wrestling world, and William the Third is very well known in the business, and you know, Patricia's just trying to be nice and is like, oh yeah, I'll pick you up and drive you around, you know, if I'm ever out there, can you help me get booked? Oh yeah, absolutely. And then he sends her a message, you know, pretty much saying dirty stuff and asking for nudes and stuff. And she's like, oh, he's a really cool guy, doesn't know any different. And, you know, is like, well, I'm not going to send you nudes, but, you know, whatever. And then lo and behold, William III is engaged or married and decides to go around in his group and try to tarnish Patricia's image, saying, well, look, she was flirting with me in these messages when Patricia had no idea William III was, you know, engaged or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And the whole group ends up believing one thing, and then William III, because he's got to save his ass when Patricia calls him out on it, he pretty much tells her, or other people tell Patricia, he will ruin you. I have seen this person ruin other people unless you do what they told. So then certain people are forced to do things or say things that they don't want to do because they don't know any better. They just want to make it in this business so bad that they feel like that's the only way. But I've also seen Casey. We'll use Casey as another one. I'm so fucked. I've also seen Casey tell multiple people at a very well-known promotion that if they do not engage in sexual activity with them, that they will not be welcomed at that promotion anymore. And I have seen that happen.
So it's just flat out black and white, like not even beating around the bush, just bang, if you do not come to bed with me, you're not welcome.
Pretty much.
Not even being subtle about it. Jeez.
No.
So to be clear, this isn't something that's just allegedly.
So allegedly, this stuff happens everywhere. And allegedly, it doesn't just happen in wrestling. It happens, you know, in the real world too. That's why there's a lot of companies that if they find out two people are dating, they will give you guys the option. One of you guys quit, or the other one move to a different department. They don't do that. So it's kind of hard. There are also women that will they will get through faster by, you know, just certain things. And multiple times, like you know, like I can definitely tell you there's a few promotions I'll never be back at. And then you know, the girls talk about it You'll be in the locker room and the girl will warn you. You'll ask, hey, have you ever worked for this promotion? And they'll be like, yeah, but be careful. And they'll warn you. They'll tell you what happened to them.
That's good.
Or, you know, or hey, like, have you heard of this dude? Girl, let me tell you what happened to me. And then you'll hear all the stories.
I even heard a story like that, and I'm not even a girl, but about a guy just like that. Like that.
You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes the worst part is when I hear a story about someone and I know it's not true. Like, I know because I was there, and I'm like, that never happened. They're like, so said, and I'm like, dude, let me tell you what really went down. And it's like, oh, well, this person looks like the asshole and not the other person. And I'm like, that's why the story got flipped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it definitely goes back to the very first thing that we were talking about in the original podcast is like, it's a very rough waters to navigate wrestling. And it's hard, and there's no way to know who's going to screw you over or who isn't, because people that you think are your friends are probably the ones that are going to cut you the deepest.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things I want to comment on. Number one, again, I can't reiterate it more, but America's raised on rape culture. So this is why a lot of this is the way it is. And that goes within any business. Some of the things you said, I can actually think back by example of people getting opportunities because of higher male management taking advantage of younger women employees, and they shoot them to the top. But as soon as everything goes sour, or there's some type of audit or something else for a higher authority gets involved, then all of a sudden they love their wife and they blah 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
But when you was taking advantage of little homegirl, it was all sweet, and she didn't know, because at the same time she thought, oh well, I'm making more money, and I got this nice title and blah 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 blah, and it is what it is. But
it's nothing that's unique to wrestling. That's a whole power structure thing. I mean, whether we're talking about Hollywood and like the casting couch type of situation. Yeah. I mean, it's all very similar. The music business, and you're trying to get booked in venues.
That's true.
I mean, it's all about power and what you can get away with. And like you were just saying, it's like, you might have some people are willing to play ball to get ahead and others aren't. And then even if they do play ball, you can run into the situation where it's like, okay, for a year or two, it's all good. But then like another young model comes along behind you and it's like, oh, you're old news now.
Yeah.
He's going to play he's got his next play to go to here, and you're out the door.
Yeah.
The other thing about this that really, really it rubs me the wrong way is that already professional wrestling in the independent scene. I mean, everyone's been very vocal about it. There's not a lot of money floating around, so the fact that everyone's just trying to, increase revenue and and build their brands better, you all should have the same purpose. But then it seems like you got these promoters who got a little bit of a local statue, and then they're taking this and try to, forget about the reason why they even built the company in the first place, but they get a little bit of statue to a point where they have a reason to have to engage with talent and bookings. And so the fact that they've now feel like they have power to be manipulative over situations and other people's careers and showings that, their real motive is apparent. And then I already know what happens after this. So promoter A asks worker A if they want to work, and it's all nice and friendly. And then, promoter A states their claim. Well, if you're going to do this, you got to stay over my house and blah, 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 blah. And then, worker A is just like, oh, I know better than that. That's a no. So promoter A is just like, Okay, well, fuck you then. And after
if you're
that,
not gonna do it, somebody else is.
Yep, and I'm just gonna get online, and worker A is such a bad person, and they don't know how to conduct business. Blah 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 blah. And they're
he's
trying to
difficult to work with.
Yeah,
he's difficult to work with. He tells his buddies in other promotions, and then
don't book this person.
Effect.
Exactly. Yeah, don't book this person.
I had her in, and she was difficult to work with.
Yeah,
and you're blackballed from an entire territory.
Drama, I think that's what they get labeled as. I hate saying this, but I did read what somebody came to the defense and said about Hendrix. You know, look at who is making these allegations, and you know, look at how she acts in the locker room. So it's interesting, Will, that you brought that up, because it's like, if this is real, then it's serious and it needs to be dealt with. And we all know that every big promotion wants nothing to do with anyone involved in that stuff, right?
Yep.
But if it is not real, then it definitely, like, there needs to be some severe repercussions for it, right? So either way, whichever way this goes, I feel like it definitely needs to be solved. And now that they've brought social media into it, they need to make a resolution out of it to social media. Does that make sense? Somebody's lying.
Yeah. If you're naming names, then you're taking it to another level.
Yeah. That's I mean, that's what I've always been saying. Like, if you're saying something and you're saying it's true, if you have proof, like, and that's the other thing, right? Because, man, I bet you, like, I can see just, you know, passing by, whatever, them just talking about, oh, yeah, are you happy here? Yeah, I'm happy here. Like, oh, yeah, you're great. You're a great wrestler. You're a pretty girl. You got the look. You're going to go far. This is the talk that gets given to me a lot. That's why I've memorized it. You're a pretty girl. You're going to go far. You're a great wrestler. There's not too many girls that do what you do and have your look. Like, you know, you speak different languages. Like, they just feed you all this stuff, and then they're like, you know, I can make you a champion here. Like, if you stick with me, I know people. I got pulled. And I'm always like, yeah, okay. But imagine if you're young and all you see is stars, and you're like, oh yeah, and then, you know, they start hanging out a little bit more, and they're like, and eventually he's, you know, you guys go out, you know, or just hanging out like normal human beings, because a girl and a guy can hang out and be normal human beings and nothing happen.
Yep.
And all of a sudden he's like, you know, I feel like a connection, like, and she's like, oh no, we're just friends. And he's like, well, you know, if you sleep with me, like, you know, I can make you part of my team or whatever. Right. I don't know.
That opens all the doors.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You know what's fun? You know what's so funny about this is that when it comes down to sexual intentions, the body doesn't allow you to hide it long. So it doesn't take no time before someone's real intentions just slips out, and they're just like, yeah, I can't play this role anymore. I need to. Like, that's the only part I'm gonna be honest is why we're really here. So, you know, it's gonna be a hint there or there, like, you know, if we, you know, I definitely, like, it's a sickening world. And I think that one thing, you know, we talked about earlier is that, like, it's just more or less more apparent time where people just have to give back to the freshly new people getting in the business who still may be a little oblivious to all this. And I think that's a good trend to protect people. But at the end of the day, everybody just has to do better.
Right.
All day, every day, people just have to do better. And I feel for her, and I also feel for Jade, because I don't know either of them either. And again, all this is
feel
allegedly
for both of them, and
no one wins.
For ROH. Like, I feel for everyone involved in this situation because it's just a really shitty position to be in. And I mean, whoever's telling the truth and whoever's lying, like, unfortunately, it's that how can you look at a female or a male and say, you know, this isn't true. If you don't have proof, I'm not going to believe you.
Yeah.
It's like telling a rape victim, well, why didn't you come out about this a month ago when it happened? Well, because I was traumatized, you know, like, so there's so many like things that go into it. So, I mean, we may never know like the truth about it. But like my heart definitely goes out to everyone involved. It's a very shitty situation to be in, but at the same time, it's a very real situation to be in, and it sucks.
That's my exact stance. I'm 100% with you on that.
It sucks. And unfortunately, unless people get outed and the proof comes to surface, it'll just continue to be that way. Luckily for me, this promoter did get outed, so I didn't have to worry about it.
I was literally about to go there.
So this promoter did get outed. I was not the girl that outed this promoter, but I did provide the messages sent to me, right? Okay. Because I'm like, you know what? You're gonna go through the whole thing. Here you go, take it. So yeah, that has happened, but it's so hard to know like who is, you know, who is the who's to
be trusted, who's legit, who's you know, has morals. My question to you, so you've been down this journey, and I apologize that you ever had to go through something like that.
I'm sure there'll be many more situations. It won't be the last.
No, for you, hopefully not. Or anyone's, excuse me, for anyone. But my question is, because you've been down that journey, and I know there had to be some type of moral victory afterwards, or was there a moral victory? And even with that, either way with that answer, considering that I'm not sure how recent or when this happened, but considering that now these things are still reoccurring, how does that put everything into scope now?
So when it happened, I definitely was like, oh, my career is over, blah, 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 blah. But then I realized there's a difference between itty bitty indie promotions and big indie promotions, right? Mm-hmm. Like the ones in the public eye that everyone knows of, you know, CZW, ROH, Beyond, Nova Pro, you know, there's Best Wrestling, everyone knows who they are. Like, who else? Wrestle Circus when they were around. The Crash. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that's not just the indie promotions. There's tiny, small indie promotions. And it's like, you know, at the time I was like, gosh, my career is over. And then when that happened, I was like, okay, whatever. And then it was weird because like I hear about it all the time. And so now my outlook on it is, okay, you know who you are, you know what you're comfortable in doing, you know what you're comfortable in not doing, right? And if you're not comfortable in that situation, unfortunately, I love to wrestle, but I am definitely not going to do something that is untrue to myself. Like I'm not about that business. I'm not about that life. And it doesn't matter if it's in wrestling. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, in a personal job. It doesn't matter if it's family, home life. I am like most people. They are very true to themselves. And then it's also what my mom told me when I told her this happened was, look at the company you're with. right? And I'm like, okay, Mom, I get that. But unfortunately, wrestlers are carnies. Like, we are super carny. And it's not like, you know, most of them, and I'm not saying that just because you don't go to college, you're, you know, you're dumb and stuff, but there are a lot of people that didn't even finish junior high and high school and just went straight into wrestling, and they're just not educated to that other level. They don't really listen and search out and research politics and certain topics. They just hear things and they take it as it is, and they say, oh, because this person said it, it should be true. Oh, because this person said it should be true. So unfortunately, that, and I understand, I get it. They're going to say, well, that's everyone in every field. I get you. But there are so much more of that in wrestling, just because wrestling's education is fighting. And that's all it is. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I hate saying that, and I'm sorry, and people are going to hate me. I already feel the heat. It's hot. It is so damn hot. We're talking about this topic.
We do, that means we're doing our job. It is that I'm definitely I don't know. I will say this too. So the one thing I was critical about everything that she said was just the fact that she brought up about being in WWE, or her opportunity with being in the Mae Young Classic. So
what? Okay, you bring that up. This is good that you bring that up. The fact that she brought that up is just like, either he knows enough people that maybe she, you know, was like, oh, maybe I have a shot this year to be in it, and then he legitimately ruined it for her. Because that can happen. There are people with enough power that can do that.
Right. But see, so I went back to look at the Instagram thing, and it's been edited. So this line before said, which I read it earlier, but now it says people from all over the world threatening me, my family, and my job. The Mae Young Classic, in parentheses, as if they had that power. I'm not sure exactly what to make of that.
I don't either. But I'm sure it's not the last tweet we're going to hear from her or anyone. So
it's a developing story as we go here, and there's been no sort of response. It's been all Taeler Hendrix so far from what we've seen.
Do you remember? Sorry, do you remember that tweet she put out about Alexa Bliss?
Okay, so it's interesting you brought that up, because I wanted to say something about this, and again, I'm trying to be very sensitive to the situation, but it's been like apparent that she's trying to make sure that she is I don't want to say the word relevant isn't the right word I want to use here, but she is creating storylines for herself. So she has been, and now I talked about this with UFC fighters too, wanting to make that transition over to WWE, where they're just like, hey, Alexa, if you need help training against Ronda, I got you. Right. And then she's like, oh, Alexa, keep that belt warm for me, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, when people see that, everyone knows that there's a desire to want to be where that person's at. That's ultimately what it is down the line. So then people are trying to take that, which isn't really nothing, because again, she's doing good for what she's doing. The UFC people are doing good for what they're doing. But people are looking at that as a form of her being illegitimate and desperate for work, thus attacking her character on this scenario. And it's like, you know, I hate to say it, but like someone said, the try by Twitter thing is that people are trying to insert themselves into their situation, create a bias, and then attack the person's character. Have an opinion is fine. We said it all show. But then to like personally attack people, that's what I just don't like. So either you can agree with her, not agree with her. When it comes to harassment, no one wins. That's why you have to be sensitive. And there's still a moral compass that everyone needs to abide by in this as well too. But
you know what gets me though is that people that post like problems on Twitter, and I'm like, it's like a soap opera, right? And I sit there and I'm like, okay, what comes next? What's happening next? Hold on. Where's the finish? You're not giving me the finish. God damn it. You know, that's me. I'm that person. I want the end all resolution.
Yeah.
Give me the resolution. And they're like, it's no one's business. And it's like, why are you posting it?
You put it out there, you got to resolve it now.
Yeah. You started the soap opera.
Yeah. Why you put it out there in the first place if it wasn't no one's business?
God, I mean, I'm telling you, that gets under my skin. That has nothing to do with wrestling. That just gets under my skin on the utmost level. Like, don't invite people into your stuff, and when someone says something, then they're just like, why is it your business? It's social media. It's everyone's business.
Right? You're like, well, it's everyone's business now. All the whole 9,000 followers that follow you, they know everything.
It's only business for the people who agree.
Yeah, exactly. It goes back to what we were saying at the beginning. You're putting it out there because you want to hear a certain response to validate how you feel. And the moment you don't hear that, then it's none of your business.
Yeah.
But as long as you're hearing what you want, as long as you're hearing what you wanted to hear, then it's all fine and good. Oh yeah, you got my back. That's what I thought. Right?
I mean, didn't they delete you from their, like, they stopped following you? Oh, you did.
Yeah, I got all because I laughed.
I laugh. It's not funny.
I mean, I was even neutral with it. It wasn't even like I agreed or anything. I just laughed because it made sense. Like, again, people have no business sense in how things work. People want equality for ratings, and that's just not how it works. If that's the case, then the Cleveland Browns will be on football every day. If it was from the people of Cleveland, they like, we want to be on Monday Night Football. No, you put your Patriots on there, your Super Bowl winner. On Christmas, the Lakers are playing the Warriors because they're the two drawing this team. You don't just put this, like, you don't put the Cavaliers on there who don't have LeBron against them just because they were in the conference finals, like, or the championship, whatever. Like, whatever. People just, and if you don't agree, then hell with you. Get out of my life. Look, let's wrap this up because I know we got life to attend to. Last thing. So we brought the Mae Young Classic because we need to turn this on a positive note. Real quick. We all know it's coming back in August. Who would you guys just like to see represented to represent in the Mae Young Classic?
Let's hear what our professional has to say first. That's what I'm most interested in.
I'm going to take this to, like, the World Cup. And since Brazil is whooping butt in the World Cup, y'all just might as well sit down. I'm going to say that my girl, Taeler Conti, is going to be in there representing Brazil. And she's going to take it. She's going to take it this Mae Young Classic,
I saw her on Bourbon, and I wanted to say something because she looked like she was having the most fun ever walking around. I was just like, oh my God, I wish I knew her because she was just having her life out there.
She's so funny.
Yeah.
So that's who I want to see definitely make it. But Toni Storm is doing pretty well for herself right now. She just had that match against Shayna Baszler. That was pretty exciting for her, in WWE UK. So that's great. I'm sure she'll be back at the Mae Young. Mia Yim probably will be there. Who else? You think Su Yung will show her face on there, or do you think
I think Impact might have that on lock?
The whole Rich Swann thing kind of ruined it for her.
She's been busy with Impact, so she might be.
Has. That's right.
Yeah, but that second point is kind of could be valid at that. Again, people wash their hands with situations that's a little sticky. But I mean, they cleared it up. No one went to jail, no charges, anything. But again, they might just be hands off regardless. But
who do you want to see there, Will?
I would say I think the big mystery right now, since we know she just got signed in the last week or so, or at least announced her intentions to be going, are we going to see Io Shirai from Stardom showing up in August that soon? Then she's supposedly on the way. It's just a matter of, is she on the way that soon? I think is the big question.
Yeah.
It's impending. So the timetable would make you think there's a good chance of it. But I mean, they went down that road last year with Kairi Sane. So I don't know if they're looking to replicate the same idea of another Stardom girl in the tournament, but they might be. I don't know. If they're doing 32 people, it probably is no big deal. They're probably thinking, yeah, we might as well have another one in.
Right.
So who are you thinking to, James?
I would love for my girl Christi Jaynes to be in there. Just makes sense. I mean,
well, that goes without saying, of course.
Yeah, that's not even a biased statement, but seriously, that'd been pretty damn awesome. Then you can hit your Spanish fly spot, the same one that Mustafa Ali does too, but you be doing it on the female side because that literally was.
That's like AR Fox's move, right?
Yeah, but. But when Mustafa Ali did that to Kota Ibushi, that might have been the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Yeah, because he did it outside the ring. Like,
yeah, I'm crazy. Trust me, I do some stupid shit.
Yeah,
like dumb. But I'm not. No.
Actually, speaking of AR Fox, I actually said like. Maybe a few months ago, that's something I would like to see come to Nova for sure.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be a good one. You think they can afford him?
I don't know anybody. I don't know no one pockets. I don't know what no one. But I don't know nothing about none of that. So I don't know. But that'd be pretty cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I have to run. I got to go get food.
Wait, that's not how this works. No. That's not how this works. If you're ready to end the show, then you end the show.
Oh. All right. Hey, everyone out there. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to all these topics that you all have your own opinion on. And don't worry about it. You can definitely go on Twitter and express it to Big Gold Belt, and no one is going to delete you. And you're not going to have a bunch of white knights on there yelling at you and telling you you're wrong.
Uh-oh.
Perfect.
No white knights allowed.
My wrestling career is over, so we're done.